mixed martial artist. I mean, when I look at you, George, in the UFC, there are fighters and there are martial artists. And you were always a martial artist.
George St-Pierre, GSP.
The pride of the South Shore, St. Isidore, Quebec, Canada, George St-Pierre.
Raised in Quebec, GSP was undersized and bullied. In an effort to stand up for himself, GSP started training in karate. Karate would form the foundation for the fighter he would become. Earning his third-degree black belt at age 12. He would carry this training through the entirety of his career.
St-Pierre and Bruckman, this is going to be one hell of a fight. St-Pierre, unbelievable athlete, strong guy, and well-rounded fighter.
St-Pierre decided MMA was the future when he watched Royce Gracie conquer UFC 1.
And he's laid into this guy like nobody's business.
Now he's starting to land some huge shots.
His arm is locked out. Justin Bruckman just taps.
That is it. St-Pierre wins with a beautiful armbar.
He needed to train in Muay Thai while simultaneously training in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but there was nowhere to receive this type of training in Canada at the time.
He was working as a garbage man when he first came and spoke almost no English.
So GSP traveled 7.5 hours, almost daily, from Montreal to New York.
So I remember just being incredibly impressed by the sacrifices he was making.
He began taking the beginner's class.
At age 18, he entered the Canadian pro fight circuit.
And I also learned that he had very little money.
He lived in a flop house while working as a garbage man and training full-time.
Here's the undisputed UCT Canadian welterweight champion, Russian George St-Pierre.
And he really knows the ground game like nobody's business.
That was a beautiful pass by St-Pierre. Now he was in side control.
Watch him ragdoll this guy's head against the canvas over and over.
And still UCT Canadian welterweight champion, Russian George St-Pierre.
I'm the wild man Thomas Denny. Came up here from California to kick some Canadian ass. I know all you Canadians don't like me now, but you'll like me when I leave the ring. I'm here to fight George of the Jungle, but he better watch out for that knee.
Thomas Denny came looking like Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. GSP handed him an old-fashioned beatdown. Round 1.
Started training in martial arts at age 7 to GSP.
You got George St-Pierre, who is known for his jiu-jitsu abilities.
Get over here!
He just muscles his way through anything because he's just such an incredible athlete. It's not even funny.
When it comes to training, George is all business. He's not about being emotional, he's about being strictly effective.
In the early years of MMA, There weren't many who had well-rounded training.
And so George was one of the first that started to have a bit of everything.
You were either a striker or a grappler. Some cross-training was essential, but fighters leaned into their strengths. GSP's training was ahead of the game.
My name is Pete Secret Weapon Spratt. Unfortunately, I should be at home with my family and friends on this holiday weekend. But since I'm here, I might as well finish some unfinished business with George St-Pierre.
Russia, George St-Pierre!
Being the Canadian champion didn't pay much. Fighters were contractually obligated to paint ads on their backs in order to draw additional revenue.
Let's get it on. C'est parti.
GSP was so strong, he could latch on to opponents and end fights before they even began. It was his quick assault style that earned him the nickname Rush. After just 5 professional fights, GSP was called up to the big leagues, the UFC.
He holds a mixed martial arts record of 5 wins with no losses. Standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 167 pounds, George Rush St-Pierre!
You ready? Bring it on! Here we go! Show of class and respect, Red Trunks Parisian.
I just turned 23. I know I'm not the best welterweight in the world right now. I know it. I have a lot of things to correct.
Yeah, George St-Pierre is, he comes with a big reputation from Canada. He's very well known up there.
With each contest, GSP grew as a fighter.
And we will render the judge's decision.
George Rush St-Pierre!
I just want to say to the American fighter, soon, a Canadian young gun is coming to kick ass.
He's got a very large frame, cutting to 170 in the welterweight division. He's take on Parisian. He is very big. It's rocked. Goes Jay Huron.
Showing off his striking ability as well as his ground and pound.
Because he's the master of shootbox. Shootbox enables me to determine, will this fight stay standing or will it go to the ground?
The elbows are raining down, and it's all over. It is all over. George St-Pierre.
George St-Pierre, who just came off a big win tonight, and at the press conference tonight, even Dana White said you're the future of the 170-pound division.
Dana White was correct.
This fight is 5 rounds for the vacant UFC welterweight championship of the world.
Had some early successes in the UFC, and perhaps before his time was put in to fight Matt Hughes for the World Championship at a very young age.
Here we go. Someone will leave a champion, either for the first time or once again.
If St-Pierre was able to keep Matt Hughes from taking him down, he's going to say something about this fight.
There it is. Matt Hughes 101 into the guard, and the guard is open.
He lost not so much because Matt Hughes beat him, but because he made a series of obvious mistakes.
Matt Hughes submission, and it's all over. It's all over. Matt Hughes with a submission victory. Bang, armbar over. Matt Hughes is once again the welterweight champion.
It was too much, too soon for the still green GSP.
In the beginning, I used to beat people by overpower them. But then UFC, this is more like a chess match. At one point, it's not athletic, you know. It's also brain and analyzing stuff. In the UFC, I do believe everyone is in shape. But I believe the reason why a guy is more tired than another guy is because one guy is more efficient than the other.
It's like seeing Mickey Mantle play baseball. It's like seeing Muhammad Ali box. And it really becomes a matter of Can someone come along that finds that one hole in your armor and has physical attributes similar to yours or enough to nullify yours and has an added equation?
Yeah.
GSP returned to Canada to defend his TKO title.
The one thing you see when you look at the physique, I mean, this is an incredible athlete in George St-Pierre.
He is. His speed advantage is definitely going to St-Pierre. He's a very quick athlete.
Finishing with another first-round submission in what would be his final TKO fight. GSP returned to the UFC, matching up with another veteran of the Octagon, Frank Trigg.
This is a huge, huge showdown. One could make the argument number 2 and number 3 in the 170-pound division behind the multiple champion Matt Hughes.
Another dominating performance from Rush St-Pierre.
Really bad position for Frank Trigg.
Choking Trigg out in the first round.
Trying to get into a different position.
Pulls him down. He's got the neck. This is it. He's got it. He's got it locked in. This should be it.
It's all over. It is all over. George St-Pierre has choked out Frank Trigg.
The GSP ascent continued.
And the welterweights are underway.
Oh, nice takedown. What athleticism and power by George St-Pierre.
Getting the wrestler on his back and doing some damage.
Thrashing renowned wrestler Sean Shirk in 2 rounds.
Referee Herb Dean taking a very close look at him. He's covering up.
That's it. That's it.
He stopped it. Wow. I believe Sean Shirk has a broken nose. His nose is a bloody mess.
George Rush St-Pierre!
Am I gonna go on my knees like that and ask the UFC management to give me a world title shot? Please, I want the belt so bad. Give it to me. I'm not gonna do one mistake this time. Give me a chance for the belt. Thank you very much.
Against St-Pierre.
Ready to fight?
The winner gets Matt Hughes.
Here we go.
St-Pierre would be pit against another all-time great, BJ Penn.
Uh-oh, poke. George St-Pierre's wincing his eye.
It was a rough start for GSP.
George St-Pierre's face is busted up.
Very good first round for BJ Penn.
BJ Penn is a deceptively strong striker.
Matt Hughes watched from the crowd.
St-Pierre, a lot of jump right here, though, Joe. He wants to bring the fight. It's almost like he knows he needs to accelerate the pace. And as you said, he was disappointed in himself in round 1.
In the next 2 rounds, St-Pierre dominated the action.
Oh!
Scoring multiple takedowns and being the clear aggressor.
And another takedown by St-Pierre. Who will get to fight Matt Hughes?
I would hate to have to score that fight. George St-Pierre might have very well pulled it off in that last round.
Will it be St-Pierre or will it be BJ Penn?
For the winner, by split decision, George Rush St-Pierre!
You're still not even in your prime.
Hopefully not. I feel great. I mean, I don't have any injuries. Like I said, I train hard, but I train smart.
At last, GSP would get another shot at Matt Hughes and the title.
Rush St-Pierre! He is considered to be the most dominant welterweight fighter in UFC history. Matt Hughes!
This fight was much different than the first. GSP put on a striking clinic.
Shot for the winner by knockout, and now the new UFC welterweight champion of the world, George Rush St-Pierre.
George Rush St-Pierre.
Like, you talk about what makes you scared. You talk about what you're worried about. Like, you know, so you're like, I am scared because I don't want to lose to this guy. Like, there's a lot of people who never admit that.
Yeah, but I think it make you stronger to admit that you're scared, because you're not scared to say that you're scared.
A powerful striker who landed a blow to the back of GSP's dome right out of the gate.
Fighting for his first title defense, and he was knocked out. So it looks like George is not all George is made out to be.
Mount and just dropping bombs. It is unbelievable! Sarah is the new welterweight champion of the world!
The new UFC welterweight champion of the world.
I was just angry at myself. I couldn't live without thinking about it. I was angry because I knew I was better than what I showed, what I did.
I'm not only driven by money. Like, it's good to have money, we like money, but it's not the unique thing that drives me.
And I still remember how strong that son of a bitch was.
With each passing year, GSP continued to morph his training into an all-encompassing regimen.
I mean, I'm talking about a weird strength, and a lot of it in his grip. He would not stop until every single part of his body, all the way down to his little toe, was in the perfect spot.
People were really underestimating how great George St-Pierre was.
Yeah.
He's a guy who beat every person that was ever put in front of him. The losses that he had avenged.
All right, gentlemen, here we go again. We will have a clean, fair fight. You need to obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Now let's hook them up.
Interim welterweight title to be delivered to the victor.
An injury forced Matt Serra to the sidelines for a year. This opened the door to a GSP Matt Hughes rubber match for the interim welterweight title.
He's got a Kimura on one side, a possible drive on the other.
GSP out-wrestled the wrestler and muscled him into submission.
Rush St-Pierre defeats Matt Hughes again!
Now, GSP would get the opportunity to avenge his loss to Matt Serra, to redeem what he called the worst performance of his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
George St-Pierre is the greatest ever. If you have to make a case for, I don't think there's a stronger case for anyone than for George St-Pierre.
That was crazy.
Wow. What? I can't hear you.
Exactly. Here we go again.
He beat everyone he ever faced. He had 2 losses that were Matt Hughes and Matt Serra, right? And came back and destroyed them.
GSP immediately went to work. Takedown after takedown.
Serra turns, GSP doesn't stop.
Followed by brutal knees to the midsection.
More knees by GSP. George St-Pierre is the undisputed UFC welterweight champion.
Champion of the world, George St-Pierre.
170-pound division is just stacked. It's just a murderer's row of assassins, one lining up after the other, each killer looking more impressive than the next, all waiting to get a hold of George.
And here we go! Immediately St-Pierre takes him down.
This is no easy task. This guy has an incredible task in front of him. He has an incredible challenge. To be champion, to stay champion, to continue to improve.
It was clear as GSP entered his prime, he was simply a cut above the competition.
Boom, perfect timing.
St-Pierre will exit Target Center as the UFC welterweight champion. I don't think there can be any doubt.
A rematch with BJ Penn.
The tactical layer, which is the last one, that's what separates contenders and champion. There's a physical, the technical, and the tactical. The tactical, I will know where I can take you out of your comfort zone, and I can bring the fight where I'm the strongest.
And what this is a testament to George St-Pierre's discipline, his focus, and his work ethic, because no one works harder than this guy. Bam! Ground and pound. You know, I'm just incredibly impressed by his ability to control BJ on the ground. Hammer fist.
After 4 rounds of receiving a thorough beating, BJ quit on his stool, leaving no doubt who the greatest fighter was.
This time, you know, last time I fought him, I won in a decision. This time I really wanted to take him out, and I'm glad that I did it. He's very tough.
Thiago, the Pitbull Alves.
It was another exhibition from GSP. The Pitbull couldn't stay on his feet long enough to do any damage to St-Pierre.
Took him down over and over again. Just used that superior wrestling and excellent timing. Nice leg kick by GSP. And a takedown immediately.
St-Pierre got him again.
There he goes.
Never satisfied with his growth as a martial artist, GSP sought the best expert in each discipline's field.
George is one of those guys, when you teach him something, when he's just getting the hang of it and he's just kind of feeling his way through it, and then he goes home, and the next day he comes back and he has it perfectly done.
Freddie Roach was working on the mechanics of punching.
And you would, do jiu-jitsu in Brazil, or you would be constantly practicing your Muay Thai. You're always trying to learn and improve your game. Almost a martial artist first and a fighter second, in that you're always learning and you're always practicing.
GSP used the lessons of Freddie Roach in his next fight, turning to an aggressive striking game plan.
St-Pierre, 14 UFC victories.
And now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Here we go!
Bludgeoning his opponent with the jab. Superman punches, jabs, and face kicks.
Power jab. Man, did he step into that jab. He's hurt badly. St-Pierre sensed it and took the opportunity.
Easy work for the baddest man on the planet. GSP was the undisputed reigning welterweight champion, undefeated in over 4 years. But everything changed when he tore his ACL training for his next match. Suddenly, that which he valued most was taken from him.
Mr. St-Pierre, when in a perfect world will you be back into hard training and fight again coming off that major knee surgery 5 weeks ago?
Carlos Condit was crowned the interim welterweight champ. GSP was faced with 2 realities. Either he'd never return to form, or he'd take back what was rightfully his.
Quick feet.
12 months later, GSP stepped back into the cage.
Condit said, GSP is the champ until I beat him. I am the placeholder. He looks for the first takedown of the night. George is shooting, and he's got it.
He opened a huge gash over Condit's eye in the first round. The interim champ hung in tough for 5 rounds. But GSP picked up right where he'd left off.
Hand by St-Pierre. George picks him up, throws him down. And they go the distance. What a fight. What a fight.
You said in the cage that George wasn't hurt, he's scared.
Previously on X-Men.
I don't think George is hurt. I think he's scared. I think he's scared to fight everybody right now. What's up? Where you at, George?
Yeah, you laugh now. Yeah, it's finished. Wait for me to come back in a year and laugh.
Why are you mad, bro? Because you're full of and everybody knows it? Is that why? Why are you mad for Saturday night? Watch what happens Saturday night. Bro,
do you really think I'm afraid of you?
Hey, that's fine. Okay, no, I don't.
You think I'm afraid of you, man? Are you crazy in your head, man? I'm not scared of you. You'll see Saturday if I'm scared of you.
All right.
He said that Nick, I quote, he's the most disrespectful human being I've ever met, and I'm going to put the worst beating you've ever seen on him in the UFC.
It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship of the world.
Nick Diaz is one of the greatest strikers to ever fight. So GSP didn't let him stay on his feet for more than a few moments. It was a ground and pound exhibition.
But so far, if he can do this, it's all George.
first round for the champion.
Round after round. Nick Diaz made it a point to try to antagonize GSP in the lead-up. But it was Nick who seemed emotional during the fight.
This is the end of the round. The bell rings. Whoa. And he took a swing at him still.
St-Pierre made sure to keep Diaz on the ground.
That's right on. And they go the distance.
Still, the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, George Rush St-Pierre!
GSP and Johnny Hendricks for the UFC welterweight championship of the world.
It was the toughest fight of his career.
Hendricks can hard elbows by Hendricks.
As Hendricks landed with ferocious power.
Hard knee by Johnny Hendricks. Hendricks has landed a couple of big shots early.
And bloodied GSP.
Nice kick by St-Pierre. That first round has been one of the most successful rounds that a challenger has had against George.
But the champ persevered.
Good right hand by George.
George St-Pierre, he's a special guy. He really is a special athlete.
There's a nice right hand by George. There's a good left hook by George. Tagged him.
And listen, there's only a debate between two guys. Is it John Jones or is it GSP?
GSP pushes off. Wow, Johnny lets him up.
It was his 19th career victory.
They have gone the distance. Johnny Hendricks and George St-Pierre. Wow, what a fight. He has never lost a fight that has gone the distance. Hendricks feels very confident.
For the winner, and still the undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, George Rush St-Pierre!
What were you going to say?
Listen, everyone, it was a lot of talk about what's going to happen. I have a bunch of stuff in my life happening. I need to hang up my glove for a little bit.
Are you retiring right now? Is that what you're saying?
I have to go away for a little bit at least. And I want to personal things happening, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the UFC who gave me that chance.
Essentially, he walked away from the game. And he walked away for 4 years. That's a long time to be out of a sport that, as young as MMA, which is evolving all the time. Every year the sport changes.
What we do is kind of a life and death situation. It's such an extreme feeling that once you don't have that in your life, life kind of become boring. You feel like you're not alive anymore.
GSP is back. He is returning to the Octagon, UFC 217 at Madison Square Garden. You've been gone for 4 years. You have Michael Bisping on a huge night for UFC.
Do you feel like
you see yourself a future? Is this kind of still one fight and see what happens, or do you feel like you're now fully back?
One and done. One and done, because he said, like the little that he is, if he loses, I'm going to retire. George is, you know, underneath that suit there, you can see some, you know, some nice little muscles he's been working on very hard, but he's still going to be the smallest guy that I've ever fought.
I just wish Michael Bisping would have come out with a different song than all the guys that I've fought before, you know. Oh, you're just an athlete, blah, 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 you're not a fighter. My journey in mixed martial art is more than legit.
With a lot of people, they take time off and then they come back and you wonder what they're going to look like. And you were saying that you were better than ever. I'm like, man, he might be better than ever. Like, you're the one guy that I believe.
Do you believe the aging former champ could recapture his past glory?
First of all, you came back, you fought a very tough guy, right? You fought a big Michael Bisping at 185 pounds. But what was impressive to me is, like, you didn't look like you were gone.
He caught him with the right hand over the top, and he looked smooth. Woo!
It's over, Joe! It's over, Joe! It's over!
George St-Pierre has done it! He is the new UFC middleweight champion! Wow!
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
Choked him unconscious.
Undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, George St-Pierre!
The gap between George St-Pierre as a mixed martial artist and the rest of the world is too big for anybody else to close. That is the greatest fighter we've ever seen. We knew that 4 years ago.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody.
Make it so.